So finally, after a 2-year long wait, the Bangalore Comicon finally happened, and I was there at the Bangalore Whitefield KTPO Center to witness it finally after 2 years of not going there at all. And of course, I got my tickets well in advance. Unfortunately, I couldn't get it for the Saturday, and it was all sold out, so I had to go on a Sunday. That was kind of a dampener because I typically like to go to the cons on the first day and not the second. But again, hey, it was full, it was packed, and it was crazy, right? It had lot of people and lot of stuff. Really loved the pop culture figures and the statues which were on display. And like every year, this is something which is very common. You have Nerd Arena, you have Wisplex, you have WoW heads, and they all brought in a lot of statues and figurines to fill up your display, right? And the WoW heads specifically, they had some great figures at a reasonable price, and I wanted to really get that Drogon in the back. There was this Darkseid there, Goku, Superman, all different kind of statues, Messi, you name it, they had it. I think most of these figures are now getting imported from China, and I could see this in many other retail shops as well, so don't need to go to the con for this. Again, there was obviously the branded Mattel, and this old man Logan statue looked really cool. Again, it was pricey. Most of the stuff in the con is pricey, even the comics that you see here, right? So that's not surprising because they really need to pay a bomb to get a shop put in here, so they really need to make their money's worth. And of course we had comics, lots of them, India comics specifically, Yagya and the Caravan Verse and Rakshak from Bullseye and Yali Dream. And you also got a lot of other indie comics being put up. Of course we had our traditional Raj comics. There was two shops by both the brothers put up there, and I really loved the sketches that was being made of Batman and Joker. The Joker specifically stood out for me. I really wished I would have got that, but skipped it for some reason. And then we had the comic book store putting up their shop. They had a lot of signed comics, the Stanley signed ones, the graded comics, and it was jam-packed. It's great to see that comics being sold and people still picking them up when it's gone all to pop culture and the movies and all. So it's great to see that the comic books making comeback. And the best part of the show is the artist signings. Of course, we had Raymond Babones and Jonathan Kunz. Although I was surprised that the number of people who were waiting for the signings was not that much. I met Ram V a couple of years back, and the queue was much bigger. So that's an unfortunate part. But yeah, that's why I feel it's become too commercialized, and we need to pull that a little bit back. That's just my opinion. But again, I got posters. When the queue was less, I got the posters signed. I really loved the Raymond's work on the Venom and the Hellboy. So those posters with his signs really stood out. And I'm going to show those posters in one of my subsequent videos sometime. Those are the big posters which I told you about. And of course, no con is complete with the cosplays, and we had a decent cosplays there, not something extraordinary like it happened in previous years. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to take you on a ride and just show you guys what else was there on the show. We are going to see the statues and figurines, and of course there were a lot of side shows happening. This guy is really good with the yo-yo, and there was a lot of graphic designers who had visited this. Like t-shirts and stuff like that is very common these days. You don't need to go to a con for that. And again, it's great to see that Raj Comics had put up 2 stores there. And that's something which is really missing, especially the comics in Hindi and other regional languages by Manoj Gupta and Sanjay Gupta. I think those 2 shops were really big. So they are coming to make a point that they are here to stay and make it big. And a lot of associated stuff, right? You had pop-ups, you had keychains, you had a lot of... it's like they're building a comic universe for themselves, which is great to see. And there were a lot of small stores selling keychains and all those kind of stuff and posters. As you guys can see, that those were all in plenty, and I'm sure there are a lot of people who are now bought into this universe, the Indian comic universe of sorts, of Nagraj, Doga, and all those guys. I'm not too familiar with those guys, so that's why I'm not going into them. And of course, there were a lot of indie comics guys as well, and there were some really cool wall hangings there. Something you would get to pick up by Graphic Curry. Of course, they visited last time as well, who bring out a lot of posters, and all around you, you could see people hunting for great stuff to carry back home, and that's the fun part of it, right? And of course, there were also cosplays all around you. The Harley Quinn, I thought she stood out, and a lot of manga stuff, by the way, guys. A lot of manga compared to the mainstream Marvel DC stuff. Manga has really taken over, which is great to see, and I'm sure there are a lot of manga fans as well. And of course, some music to boot on the stage, which is great to it had a lot of crowds, so it was a crowd puller for sure. And of course, a lot of bargaining, a lot of purchases. This is really cool of an Indian take on the mainstream DC heroes, the Batman, Superman, in an Indian mythos set up by Anurag. Really loved what he made of it. Even like similar to what Scott Snyder, Greg Capullo are doing with the metal universe, and the cosplays continue to be there. The ramp walks, which I was just capturing, although I didn't find anything extraordinary there compared to the previous years where I've seen some amazing cosplayers coming in. But that's where I took my leave. Really enjoyed this Comic-Con, and of course looking forward to the next year. I hope it's not as mainstream as this one. But until next time, this is Comic Chemistry signing off. Hope you enjoyed it. Bye bye.